Olabisi Onabanjo University, OOU, Iwoye chapter, the Academic Staff Union of University, ASUU, on Wednesday staged a peaceful rally to create awareness over the impending nationwide strike by the union. Now, the ASUU OOU, which said it was acting on the directive of the national body, added that the strike ought to have commenced, but the union chose to postpone it till a date in July to enable the lecturers to prepare the minds of the stakeholders on the looming industrial action, which is what they were doing. Preparing the minds of the parents, the students, and stakeholders. The rally, led by OOU branch acting chairman, Dr. ASUU, took the lecturers around the university campus where they briefed students, parents, motorists about the imminent strike and everybody, urging them to understand that the strike is meant to save the nation's public university. All right, we'll continue with this story, but let me get your thoughts on the intending strike by ASUU. They're creating awareness. Look, by next month we're going to go on strike. In fact, it's long overdue. We would have done this ever since. And salary is one of the things that they're mentioning, plus other things which we'll get to explain later. I won't continue with the story. But let's get your thoughts on ASUU going on strike again.
Well, the truth remains that strike is part of democracy. Protest is part of democracy. But it has never yielded a positive result. I can tell you for free, most of the lecturers have other businesses they run. Most of them even travel abroad. So strike is very, very, interesting for them because it gives them the freedom to go about their private ventures.
How would you say that?
To some. I'm not saying all.
Okay.
Yes, I'm telling you with what I understand. So
because of the frequent strike,
most of them, are into other businesses. Most of them travel abroad when the strike is long. So they are even using it as a good reason to engage in their private activities. Now, I always believe that if it has to do with you personally, because most of this strike is because of government, but the private institutions, you never have seen them say they are going on strike. Because why? Maybe they do not really allow the existence of a union to a reasonable extent. Discussions of demands of workers are being discussed at management level without going to strike. So, but in this case where I always ask when they say government, who is government? Are you not part of government? We all are part of government. But unfortunately, like I said, my take, my take on the issue of ASUU in terms of adding money or increasing money for them. I have stated it categorically that ASUU should not be given 1 naira addition until our academic content is reviewed to become solution-driven so that they don't continue to produce liabilities that is not helping our national economy. So until that is done, I do not see any reason why money should be added to ASUU to continue to produce liabilities, graduates who don't know what they are trained for.
Remember what they are asking for is their salaries.
Is it the OAU, the Onabanjo University that is not being paid? I don't think that the River State University, that's UST now, the lecturers or staff are not complaining of salary.
Remember that this is going to be a national protest.
The issue here
it's not just a protest for
you see, most of the state-owned universities are not complying in most of this strike thing because most of them, the state is not owing them. Most of the state universities, check well, they are being paid. Sometimes they have internal agreement with the state government.
So why does it look different when it comes to federal universities?
Federal universities are being funded by the federal government. The state universities are being funded by the state government. So these are two different things. But most times they join them in strike for solidarity's sake. Not that what they are asking for, their own state has not taking care of it. Most times they are called solidarity strike. Oh, right. So for me, in any case,
they should not be giving any money.
I repeat it. They should not add money to ASUU until a mechanical engineer in our public school graduates and know how to repair motor so that he can be self-reliant, until a civil engineer graduates and is able to construct a building, then
aren't you exaggerating here? Why would a civil engineer graduate and not be able to
to a
practice?
very reasonable level? We have got lecturers who come here and tell you that because they do not have enough instrument, right? They do not have enough things in their laboratories and all that, owing to the fact that they don't have
which is one of the reasons ASUU usually goes on strike.
That's part of
They're saying equip our laboratories more. They're saying give us funds to get into practical aspect of education for our students.
So if you know.
So if you're saying don't add money to them, don't give them any money.
No. You see,
we'll come back to just hold that thought. Let me get Stephen's thoughts on all of this.
So on a very formal note, I would like to appeal to government to consider this as necessary to save our education system. We've been begging for a review of the 6% annual budget for the entire education sector to be reviewed up to 26 to 27%. What ASUU is doing, I think I stand in solidarity with ASUU, what ASUU is doing. Sadly, he's asking for ASUU to give what they actually do not have.
What do they not have?
You don't have facilities, you don't have a proper learning system. So how are you going to give? How do you function? Take a good look at how graceful and beautiful your studio is. So it comes with, I think a good environment gives you that edge, the confidence to actually want to deal with matters, with issues as you want to. We've seen in this country issues where doctors, academic professors are actually complaining about not having enough grants to go study, carry out their research and all that. What would you expect? So, as an undergrad, I was telling the then ASUU chairman of the University of Dhaka, Dr. Sinsadu, look, sometimes it's hard for me to buy their books. I said, why? Because I told him every time I walk into the university library, about 80 to 90% of the books there were more foreign books. The theories we all learn and all of those things. So why buy yours when I can get something better that is even approved by the university and is sitting there? So, but you still cannot take away the fact that a lot of the academic staff we have in this country have actually been there and done that. And now they're here, regardless of the challenge. Let us look at the medical faculty. You still have, despite the challenges, you still have medical doctors graduate from our worsening academic institutions and are able to compete with their peers globally. And it was just last week, your guest was reviewing it, and then he told you, we all heard how that it's very intriguing to see Nigerian doctors compete in the UK, compete in the US, being able to carry out, medical processes, regardless of the dilemma that we're facing in this country. What ASUU is asking for is, I strongly believe that if the government increases their spending on the education sector, he's asking for a review of the curriculum. How do you do that when you're not being funded? How do you come up with, the pipette and the burr needed for your laboratories when they're not even there in the first place? As an undergrad, again, I remember having to go do a few, practical tests, and then on one of those, I actually assessed my departmental lab once for a particular course. It was funny because the day that lab was open to, I was like, so we've had this.
Not just you.
Okay.
A lot of people were like, so this
So we have this here in Nigeria, in fact, in the University of Dhaka, but we only had to assess it once. Why? The factors are so you don't get to damage it due to overuse, and so that's people coming after you, because the moment that thing gets spoiled, there's no telling when it will be replaced. Yeah. So this consideration.
So
in this case now, government have provided what to use in learning, and then the managers are telling you that assessing it could damage it.
Assessing it
for a very good reason. Accessing it without, sustainability is a major management problem in Nigeria. You have it, yes, but if it goes bad, is there a mechanism to have it replaced?
No. You see, that's where we are still saying it's not right. Now, what is the rationale for denying you the basic knowledge, the practical, in the sense that so that it will not get bad. So my take is this, sir. If you are training, what we do more is lecturing. That's why I said the world have gone beyond lecturing. It's about training.
Yes.
Which is that practical they are denying you. So if they deny you the training and then keep on lecturing you, so you come out to still be a liability to the society. So my appeal is that in the institutions where these facilities are, let us agree that even the lecturers even know how to use it. Oh.
They do.
You are getting me? Now, if they know how to use it, why are you reserving the knowledge? Train these 50 quality students. You are getting me? Graduate them. Their impact in the society, their impact in our economy will be positive. So the issue of we don't have it enough, you see, is the story. So my appeal is that if they train you well, you graduate, and you are making impact. Do you know that one student alone can donate another one?
Of course. But did you get the reason he said they are trying to be careful with these equipments?
Because
replacing it is going to be a problem.
You see, that's
because they'll have to go on strike.
No. They don't need to. Most of those ones, I can also let you know, most of those labs you see sometimes are being equipped by private individuals.
Very true.
So what is wrong in opening up partnership? What is wrong? Like I said, if they train you well, with all due respect, you know what you are graduated to do, and then you are resourceful, and your school, write to you, my son, or this, that, and that. As alumni, we have alumni association.
Isn't that working on probability? What happened to the government doing what they're supposed to? Yes.
Forgive me. Let us backtrack from the report. The reason why ASUU is doing all of this is so they can save our education system. It's so that we can have better managers of this country who would improve the society tomorrow. What you're asking for cannot be done until government fulfills its primary obligation. And what is that? Government ought to serve as an enabler for these things to work. And what is that? Increase the budget. You still have federal lawmakers that are asking for universities to be built in their constituencies. When you have currently about 122 plus federal government-owned institutions that are poorly funded. So you don't need more, you don't need newer institutions. You only need a system that is well-funded. People can actually do what they actually going there for. So ASUU is asking for their salary, something as basic as earning, as being given what you believe is due you. And economically, we say this, every money you earn should be able to do 3 basic things for you. The one you can save up for a time being, money you can actually use to solve or sort out personal needs, and maybe a little bit of that fund to be able to reach out and support friends and family that may call on you whenever. Well, what it means is that you don't earn enough to be able to do these things.
And then you're not paid.
And then you're not well paid.
No.
And all of that. So government should do their primary job, become an enabler. Okay. You see private organizations supporting all of this with ease.
But Ambassador K, you come in then. But let's just talk about some of the reasons that they have mentioned. So just hold those thoughts. I'll come back to you. Now, the protesting lecturers were armed with placards with various inscriptions. Now, addressing newsmen, the acting branch chairman, Dr. Loto, identified the federal government's disbanding of some governing council boards of federal universities when their tenure had not yet ended, and its refusal to recall them, owing members 3.5 months under the guise of no work, no pay policy as punishment for previous strike and quest for university autonomy as some of the reasons for the looming nationwide strike. These are some out of many other reasons. They mention other things, but you see, they are back to leadership, governing council, and the time they went on strike that they were not paid because of the no work, no pay policy. So you can come up with that.
Is there truly a no work, no pay policy in the educational sector? If yes, when you go into a battle, there is also casualty. Now, your refusal of working for government, those days you didn't work, government suffer loss. So part of your laws is also that no work, no pay. You can't expect payment when you didn't work. It's a law. Now, number two, the issue of governing council board. We have said it categorically. You don't, if a particular board is not giving government the result for constituting them as a board, you do not expect that they must stay till their tenure expire. No. There is no law that says that they must stay till their tenure expired. If government feel that they are not giving them the result for which they were appointed, they have the rights, the prerogative to dissolve that board. And that's what government have done. But our appeal in the new board, they've already constituted a new board already, is that they should give men, that will have a better, passion for a quality education in our country. Now, on the issue of, what's the third one that they raised? We've talked about board, we talk about no work, no pay, which I said government is right because they are aware that is the policy, there's a policy of no work, no pay. So if you know that this is the consequence of your action, you should be able to take it. It's a bold step. So there's nothing wrong about that.
Asking for university autonomy.
The issue of university autonomy, for me, I think is wonderful. Nothing wrong about that. So that you can generate the resources to make the learning institution as heaven as you desire. So that the complaint of government is not funding us, I think it will end. Because you will now, that's part of my advocacy, generate resources. If your workers at the university deserve to be paid 1 million, and you can generate that 1 million without making the student of Nigerians cry, go ahead.
All right.
So for me, I subscribe to the university autonomy.
Okay.